Star Wars fans enjoy debating everything about Star Wars, but sometimes the most interesting what if questions arise when you watch the movies with an 8-year-old. Like, what if Leia became the hero of the series? My name is Sejin Kim, also known as Art Journeyman. I'm a late blooming artist who started this journey in 2023 with drawing, music composition, writing, and multimedia experiments. I'm on a mission to help people realize their dreams through creative thinking and simple practice, simple daily practice. I hope that by sharing my own creative journey, I can inspire you along the way. So I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, but I love the movies. I grew up on 4 through 6. And the first movie I saw in the theater was actually when I was 8 years old, and I watched it with my father, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. And so my wife and I thought, my son may enjoy it, may enjoy the series, and so we started with 4 through 6. And it reminded me, watching these movies with him and my wife, reminded me about this kind of wonder and curiosity that this whole series creates. I did write a Substack article that is kind of the base or the root of this talk that I'm giving here on YouTube. So you can go check that out. I'll provide a link below. It'll provide some more details about what I'm going to be speaking about right now or today. Also, I'm not a hardcore fan, and I have visited some of the fan sites, but I didn't really explore them too much, and so I'm just kind of providing this disclaimer that there's a good chance that this scenario of Leia becoming the hero has been played out and done to death. So I'm sorry if what I'm presenting to you is old news. These ideas that I'm sharing could be old news, and I can just say that these just developed naturally out of conversations that I had with my son about the movies and all of the different what-if questions we asked. This one was the most interesting. As I got older, after I watched that when I was 8 years old, The Empire Strikes Back when I was 8, I heard more and more about George Lucas speaking about being inspired by the author Joseph Campbell and his writings on the power of mythology and story and the hero's journey. And this reminded me about the famous cave scene in Episode 5 when Luke confronts or goes into that underground cave and confronts Darth Vader to then chop his head off and see his own face within the mask. And when I saw that again with my son, I was really blown away again by that scene. As an adult, I think it has even more meaning as, we kind of enter our midlife. As people who enter their midlives, sometimes we think more about identity, confronting what might be holding us back. This idea of sort of killing off an old part of ourselves to strive further ahead, to move forward, right? Killing off this old part to move forward. These are very memorable and important moments in the movie, or this is a very important moment in the movie that kind of triggers these important considerations, these important thoughts for everybody, I think. So let's get into the alternate storyline. I started talking about this with my son zeroing in on the moment when the droids went out in search of Obi-Wan, or R2 went out in search of Obi-Wan, and this is in Episode 4, sorry. And then Luke ending up telling his uncle that the droids went AWOL. And so the uncle then goes out in search, and Luke stays home with his aunt to then be killed by the Empire, and Obi-Wan finding out, then needing to fly off planet to search for Leia, who is the last hope, or in this situation is the last hope. Basically finding Leia, she becoming the new hero, training with Yoda, destroying the Death Star, facing Darth Vader in Episode 6, and killing or destroying Emperor Palpatine. One of the big questions is, would she advance faster? Would she be more powerful and in the end become a more powerful Jedi than Luke? I think it's always fun to kind of delve into some more details, like their personalities. Well, Luke is very impulsive, impatient at times. At the beginning of his training, he was discouraged. He can be immature. Well, he's young, like Leia can be immature too. She's young. Given all of these shortcomings, you can look at these shortcomings as becoming strengths or leading into, his strengths. And in the end, he's successful. He's able to use what he has to find success. And Leia too, she has this impulsivity and impatience kind of amplified by this fieriness within her, like a firestorm quality. I think, though, from an early stage of her training, she would show that she can be emotionally stronger than Luke, because I think when the moment counts and when it really matters, she can kind of shine, maybe more than Luke. Just really quick, I just had this strong image of her doing the handstand during her training. She's doing the handstand, the one-handed handstand with Yoda balanced on her foot, and she's lifting the equipment, with the Force, and the X-Wing fighter starting to sink in the swamp. I just saw her as kind of being very focused and not being distracted by that, and holding that position, in contrast to Luke's kind of losing control and his composure at that moment. The one other question is, could Leia have flown the X-Wing fighter and targeted the missiles into that little weak port, the weak hole, the exhaust port that was the weak point of the Death Star? Would she have been able to manage that or do that? Well, this brings up maybe an interesting side story that could be interspersed within Episode 4, where she receives kind of secret training from her father, who was an important figure in the rebellion as well as a leader, a senator. And so he had the means to give his daughter battle training, secret battle training, where she learns hand-to-hand combat, how to shoot, how to use firearms, and how to fly. And that might be kind of fun to kind of intersperse this, kind of in recollections, and then to kind of surprise everyone when she shows her flying ability and her targeting skills. The real message, I think, is what if questions remind us to stay curious, and Star Wars fans remind us the importance of imagination, curiosity, and a sense of wonder. Why not be curious and have a sense of wonder about life? Why not have imagination and be open? This can spark creativity. The other day I went on a bike ride with my son, and we took a break, and I just happened to look up and I saw this leaf falling down from a high branch, spinning. It was really beautiful, and I just thought I made a note of it in my journal, and I thought this can inspire someone to, like a dancer. If a dancer was watching that, it could really spark some creative flow, some creative juices in terms of is there a way that I can move like that? Create a new dance routine, or explore movement in a different way as a dancer. The man who invented Velcro, I just discovered this information. His name is George, or was George de Mestral, and he noticed the burrs, the plant burrs getting stuck on his dog's fur. And then finally he kind of looked under a microscope at the burrs, and he saw that there were these little hooks coming out of the burr. And in the end discovered the hook and loop system of Velcro. So, we can look at it like curiosity as being our version of the Force, this creative energy that we bring into the world, right? Why not have imagination and curiosity and a sense of wonder about life? So in closing, maybe, you guys can comment below and respond to this little talk that I've given. Do you think Leia would have become more powerful than Luke? What other alternate storylines can you come up with? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you liked this content, please like and subscribe below. I look forward to communicating some new ideas in the next video. I really enjoyed this one. I appreciate you. So take care until next time.